Good morning. This is Jason Dean coming live at you again for another Film Fanatic show. It is 11:47 on a Sunday. Happy Sunday. So yeah, I want to thank uh, all the folks that have been commenting on these videos. I've been um, I've been mostly there's been a few days where I wasn't able to get to recording these shows, but for the most part, I've been still doing it almost every day. One thing that's been different is I've been setting up movies or videos as premieres, just to kind of break up the traffic and all that kind of thing. So, but it's been really fun tonight. I'm really excited, but then I'm also a little bit nervous that it's not a total shit show. It could be both, but we'll see. But I'm really excited. I'm going to the Late Late Show with some friends tonight to go see the new Superman, the new James Gunn movie. So there'll definitely be a big show on that, whether it's an amazing experience or a total mixed bag or not great at all. So that's one thing I usually do. I typically don't do shows on the channel on movies that I own that I don't really like, or movies, in that case. I do reviews for, when I go to Opera House Video, which I go to see. Usually that's how if I don't get a chance to see the movie in the theater, and it's something that is kind of interesting or something that's kind of on my radar, I will usually always rent it. And a lot of the times, in the case of those situations, I will do a show on, regardless. If the movie's not very good at all, then sometimes I won't. But typically, when I rent a movie, I'll do a show whether it's whether I enjoyed it or I didn't. But typically, for my own collection of movies that I own, I usually only try to focus on movies I really really love. And but the big exception that I make to that whole kind of thing is like when I go to the theater, because it's really the whole experience. I will review the movie, regardless of how it is, or at least how I think it is. So I will definitely do a show. The last movie I saw in the theater, which was a while ago, was Thunderbolts. That was also a comic book movie. That was a Marvel movie. This Superman is the new kind of launch pad for the whole new DC universe, and it's directed by James Gunn. So I'm a big fan of his. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Right now, I've been knee deep, and I'm just about done with it. It went by super fast. I thought I was going to. There were a couple of days and a couple of nights this week. I got home pretty late, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to continue watching it just because it was late. But I've been loving it so much that I've been just pushing through, and I've been just totally enjoying it. I'm just about done. I'm on the last episode now, and I've been watching Andor, which is just an incredible show that was put out by Disney Plus, which to me is mind blowing. Andor is kind of a spin off Star Wars show. For me, the thing that I love about this series is that it really feels like I'm just watching a movie. I have it. I rented it at Opera House Video. I had called Dennis, or maybe it was the last time I was actually in the shop. I had asked Dennis about that, if they were going to be getting in Andor to rent, because they have a huge TV, and television show, selection. But a lot of the times with a lot of these streaming services, sometimes there's massive delays as to when they're going to come out on physical media, and sometimes they don't. But for the most part, they do. But there's usually a long delay. So Andor, it came out in 2022, and here we are, 2025. So it was like 3 years ago. So it's kind of crazy. So he special ordered it and got it in. So I finally sat down and watched it, or have been watching it. I'm on the very last episode, and for me, it doesn't even feel like a television show. I've been just kind of enamored with it. I love how creative it is. I love how it's truly its own thing. It's it's totally a standalone show. slash movie. My favorite show of all time, which I've talked about many times on this channel, I've done multiple episodes on, is True Detective season one. And for me, like with that show, I can just put it in and watch it all the way through, no problem. But for me, I don't even think of that as a television show. And I bought True Detective season one probably about 2 or 3 years ago on Blu-ray, and I've watched it numerous times. And to me, it just plays like a movie. Other television shows that I really love is David Fincher's Mindhunter. That's just an incredible show as well. Totally riveting. Although that there's something about that that does feel a little bit more like a television show. Kind of just the way the structure is, but equally just amazing. One of my favorite shows of all time. I really love the first season of Daredevil as well. I own that on Blu-ray. That's one of my favorite television shows. So there's a good handful of. Another one that's really good is the Unabomber um, show or series about Ted Kaczynski. That came out a few years back. I really love that too. That's a really great high quality show. So there's some really good ones. I'm pretty late to the game when it comes to television shows, but I have to say Andor is like right up there, right behind with for me True Detective. I definitely right now I'm watching it and I'm on the very last episode. There's a new season coming out. I think it just came out, which I definitely want to see. But I'm on the last episode, and I finished quite a bit of it last night. I started watching. I got home pretty late last night, but I was like, I gotta watch this, and I thought there was a wait. I thought there was quite a few more episodes to go, at least 3 or 4. And I was like, oh wait, shit, there's only one more. And I was like, oh, so it left me wanting more. And I'll be finishing that maybe tonight or tomorrow, but I'm almost done with it. And this series is amazing. I would totally buy it on Blu-ray because I've been talking about it with some friends. It's come up a couple times, and a few people that I know have seen it, and then some people I know haven't seen it. And the way I describe it is the thing that's so great about Andor is that it's own thing. You can go into it cold and not knowing and not having to know anything about Star Wars. Like you could go into it and being like, I have no idea what Star Wars is. What are lightsabers? What are Jedi? I have no idea. What's the Force? And you could watch this series and just totally enjoy it. I think it's some of the best original science fiction action that I have seen in recent time. To me, it's just incredible science fiction. And the thing that is so great about this one, as far as, I mean, obviously this is part of the Star Wars universe. The timeline of this series, and again, going into it, I didn't know anything about it. I just heard that it was really good, and I should check it out. But the timeline for this series is it takes place before Rogue One, and Rogue One came out a few years back. It's got some of the same actors from that film, and that movie is basically in the order of the Star Wars movies. That takes place right before A New Hope. Basically where the rebels are crushed, and it takes place the storyline right before the build up. Where they're trying to attempt to get the plans after the Empire. Have this big giant plan to create the Death Star to blow basically this massive machine that can blow up whole planets. And Rogue One is centered on them trying to get these documents and to try to stop it and get a hold of the technology. And in Rogue One, basically everybody dies. I don't really like that movie that much. I think it's really it could have been better than it is, but it's still like it doesn't. It's just the thing is about that show or that movie is it's you just I don't know. It's hard going into it because you know exactly what's going to happen, and it does have a grittier, darker feel, but it just doesn't really. It's just very predictable, and you just know what the outcome is. So I found it's very hard to get into, and it could have been a little bit darker, could have been a little grittier. And Andor, the series of Andor, basically is the story of Cassius Andor, who becomes the kind of the rebel leader. And the storyline of Andor is it takes place 5 years before Rogue One. And this series is again head and shoulders above everything that I've seen in the Star Wars universe. I put it right up there with like Empire Strikes Back, which is my all time favorite. I do love A New Hope, of course. That's a masterpiece. But Empire is my deepest love of all things Star Wars, and I think Andor is like just as good as that. It's incredible. So it's totally its own thing, and they took some chances. You really get a sense of the dread and the oppression, the fascism, if you will, of what the Empire is doing in the universe, turning the galaxy into essentially this police state, and you see the fallout of what this uh, of what the Empire is capable of doing and what they have done, all the atrocities. But you just get a sense of that, um, and but yet it's giving you something new that's not predictable. Like I know what the storyline is working towards, but it's like telling it in a unique way and not like there's no hook line. There's no. It doesn't follow this paint by numbers for formulaic plan, kind of like what Rogue One does, unfortunately. So I'm today's show. I'm talking about. I'm on as far as the videos I've been covering. Today's show is on episode 3, The Reckoning. The siege tightens up as the armored troops close in on the fugitive Cassian Andor. Desperately to escape arrest, Cassian contacts a mysterious but well connected man who could provide him with money. So, again, the intensity and the suspense in each episode, and as well as the action, just continually builds up. I mean, every episode almost gets better as you go, and this is an incredible episode. And so this is episode 3 in the series. So yeah, stay tuned for more videos. I'm going to be doing videos on of each of the episodes for season 1 of Andor. So thanks again, and we will see you next time. Peace.